Hey, everyone finished watching the last episode of VR Troopers. JB and Ryan are putting together a robot for Professor Hart. Grimlord wants to steal it. At the lab, the troopers finish the robot, named Galileo. It looks like a small Dalek from Doctor Who, made of odds and ends. It starts to smoke and JB shuts it off. Caitlin suggests they get someone to help fix it. Poindexter. They go to his lab and he looks over Galileo. Doommaster comes to steal the robot with an army of Ultra Skugs. Poindexter helps fight them off with a fire hose, and even Galileo joins in, shocking a Skug with a prong. Unfortunately, Doommaster manages to teleport it to Grimlord. Poindexter luckily included a homing device. Galileo refuses to cooperate with Grimlord, and Oriclon tries to zap it but misses, causing some confusion. Eventually, they get a hold of it and try to drain any information it has. Grimlord sends out a monster to keep the troopers busy while Oriclon drains the information from Galileo. Ryan takes care of the monster while JB and Caitlin get into the Dark Fortress and free Galileo. At the lab, Jeb and Galileo tease each other. This did not end the way I expected. The last episode was big and eventful, but this one is pretty basic. This episode almost feels like the start of a new season. Galileo appears to be a new regular character. And Poindexter is back. Unfortunately, this is the end, so no more of him. It's really disappointing that there's so many characters that didn't really get any big final moment. There's a lot of plot threads left hanging, the biggest being Nighttime. He's still in Grimlord's dungeon, and I guess he's gonna stay there. Galileo probably would have been a fine enough new character, though I can definitely see his shtick getting old. He'd probably be getting kidnapped or be given a virus routinely. Repetitive, but VR Troopers seems to love repetitive. It's too bad. For a finale, there's really not a lot to say. All that's left is how I think VR Troopers probably should end. I do have my own idea on an ending. I'll do a separate video, but here's a quick summary of what my idea for, like a big finale for VR Troopers would be. Grimlord should send out an all-out assault. He's found a way to disable the reality barrier and break through with hundreds of monsters and robots. His forces attack Crossworld City. The troopers are outnumbered. Luckily, Ryan's father shows up. He's developed a new virtualizer for himself. Together, they go out to face Grimlord's army. Tyler Steele transforms into a form similar to Ryan's original look. JB, Ryan, and Caitlin use all their available abilities to push back the bad guys. The citizens of Crossworld City fight back as well. Tao, Woody, and Percy all work together to save the city. Grimlord eventually gives up and pulls his forces back as Professor Hart manages to re-establish the reality barrier. In the confusion, Nighttime escapes and disguises himself as a worker for Carl Zichter. Somehow, he reveals Zichter's identity, and Grimlord is relegated exclusively to staying in virtual reality. Nighttime allies with the troopers to defeat Grimlord and his forces for good. The troopers aren't sure if they can trust him, but after defeating Grimlord, Nighttime fades away. Before leaving, though, he does one more thing. He tells the troopers to return to the lab. They go and are shocked to find Professor Hart alive and well in reality. Tyler Steele reminisces with his old friend. Later, Ryan is at the pagoda. He thinks back to all the adventures he's had. Suddenly, he's interrupted by his father calling to him. He turns around to see his father, Jeb, JB, Caitlin, and many other friends there. He walks back over to join them as we fade to black. I think that'd be a great ending for VR Troopers. Like, it really wouldn't take a lot, just some finality with Grimlord. Have Grimlord be defeated, have Ryan's father come back, maybe he transforms. Like, I mean, we have the Metalder suit, get some use out of it. And also, all these side characters, like, just have them play a part. I was thinking of, at the end of Countdown to Destruction, or Beetleborgs, either the end of Season 1 or the beginning of Season 2, had some of the side characters helping out, fighting the bad guys. And I think that's just such a cool idea, and a really good way to utilize all these side characters. So yeah, that's it for VR Troopers. There's never been any official follow-up to the series. No characters ever appeared elsewhere, though some actors from it did go on to appear in Power Rangers at various points in time. Upon this rewatch, I'm surprised that I didn't care for VR Troopers as much as I used to. So much of the show is the same plots recycled over and over. Many of the villains lack personality. The troopers themselves are likable but unimpressive characters. The side cast is a bit more colorful. Woody is goofily over the top, Master Tao is a friendly, familiar face, and Jeb has some funny moments. Percy is a likable character at times, though his comedy often was pretty basic and unremarkable. Professor Hart was a fascinating character. Unfortunately, he was stuck as a near emotionless info dump source most of the time. I'd have liked to see him in the real world more. There's a lot I wish could have been expanded on, but VR Troopers was made in a weird way at a weird point in time. Very little from the various Japanese shows they were adapting could be salvaged. This led to a lot of restrictions not shared by other shows of its kind. So, next up is Masked Rider, probably the most infamous show Saban was responsible for. Is it really as bad as people say? From what I remember, yeah, it's pretty bad, but not really any worse than, like, a typical sitcom. Like, I'd gladly watch Masked Rider right alongside an episode of Mork and Mindy or Alf or, yeah, any other crappy old sitcom. Like, I understand where the hate's coming from. Like, you took Kamen Rider and turned it into an American sitcom. But if you judge Masked Rider alongside American sitcoms, which is what it was trying to be, I don't think it's that bad. But I guess I'll see when I rewatch it. So that's it for this one. See ya.
Citizens of Earth, beware!
Something strange is going on.
Space insects are flying to Fox Kids!
We shall attack at dawn.
Are we being invaded by aliens?
Yes, infested! So watch out for picnic pests! Bug-eyed beings! And our only chance to squash them!
Ectophage, activate!
Masked Rider!
A real-life superhero alien bug.
So be here for the Masked Rider, coming this fall to Fox Kids!